What's going on, everybody? It's Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. I can't believe it. 7:20 here. Game kicks off in about 40 minutes. It's dark, it's raining, and yeah, man, we gotta suck it up because it's game time, baby. So, team sheet is pretty much where I thought it was gonna be. Yesterday, when I did the preview, I did mention that things might stay as they are. But today, on the 101 forum, I did say when I plastered up the game preview that it's possible that we might go to the single pivot and then put Pepe back in and have Smith Rowe and Odegaard play in front of Partey. And it seems like that's what they've done. It's a good move. I think it's a gamble as well because a team like Palace, very disciplined, they know what they're doing. The game against Brighton, which I thought they played really well and I think they should have won. Also, the game against Leicester, I thought that Crystal Palace should have won that game as well. And they just look solid all round. And I think they probably look at Arsenal today and think that Arsenal are there for the taking. Until the team sheet came out and we found out that Zaha is not going to be in the team. So no Wilfried Zaha today for Palace. And Arsenal will be going with the single pivot. I'm still going to go with the 1-0 prediction at the moment. Benteke comes in for him. So we're going to have to handle him. I think he shouldn't be an issue for Gabriel or Ben White. I think even what I wanted to really see was Tomiyasu against Zaha. That's what I really wanted to see. But I'll speak to you guys at half time. I'm sticking with my prediction of 1-0. But that's pretty much the team sheet news. And I'll catch up with you guys at half time. Peace out. It's Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 0, and the first half was kind of like how you would predict it would be. Palace, for all of their issues in terms of missing Zaha, they still looked quite hungry going forward. The intensity from the game has really come from them. They seem to be working a lot harder off the ball than Arsenal are. The goal was very much like Norwich-like, where Pepe comes in, cuts in, has a shot, goalkeeper makes a save and Aubameyang picks up the rebound and scores. It's a carbon copy of the Norwich goal, and that's what puts Arsenal up. Aubameyang playing really well. He's created 2 chances, a lovely pass over to Pepe, 40 yards on the right hand side, and a defender makes a play on it. But just the quality in Aubameyang's play is all over the field. He's actually made 4 recoveries today as well. He's running back into the midfield, winning the ball back, looking really hungry, really like what I see from the captain at the moment. And it isn't the first time. He has had a couple of really good games under his belt this season. And it's good to know that he can do a lot more than just score goals as the captain. So that's one of the bright spots as well. Another thing I have to talk about is Aaron Ramsdale. His distribution is lights out right now. 2 instances where he put the ball out 40, 50 yards, which put Crystal Palace under pressure on the back foot after they were actually trying to press the ball being played out from the back. So really, really do like what Aaron Ramsdale's doing towards the end of the half. Right in the last second, he makes a fantastic save and really saving Arsenal at the moment now. 5 minutes before that, he also got down, I know it was offside, but he also got down point blank, made a save, and he really is becoming a passionate fan favourite between the sticks for Arsenal fans. That's Aaron Ramsdale. But let's talk about the bad. What on earth is going on in the midfield? They cannot string 5 passes together. The issue is they're trying to play that route one. They're trying to find that magic in the box to try and catch Crystal Palace out. And time again, all they're doing is giving possession back to Palace, and Arsenal are being forced to defend. Instead of playing possessional football, playing keep ball, the longer you have the ball, the longer Palace won't be able to be a threat to you. Arsenal are just not doing that. They're not finding Martin Odegaard. Odegaard's being double teamed, so the ball is having to go elsewhere. And whether it's Partey, Smith Rowe or Saka, they're constantly losing possession of the ball, and Arsenal then have to force themselves back into a defensive formation. And that's where Palace have been really for the last 25 minutes of the first half. Arsenal just really haven't been in the game. And I think half-time couldn't come soon enough for Arteta to find a solution for this. If it's me, Saka's on a yellow card right now, so I'd probably bring Sambi on for Saka and let Saka sit this one out and try and find some stability in the midfield with Partey and Sambi going back to a double pivot. It just isn't working with the single pivot right now. And that's just because of the way how Palace is making it uncomfortable for Arsenal playing the ball out of the back. So hopefully Arteta would look at that. I'm happy with the scoreline at the moment, but there's just some confusion every time Palace get the ball on the edge of our penalty area. So you're going to have this sort of inconsistency on the back line for a few games yet, because they just haven't figured it out yet. They'll get around to it, but you can see it's early days for a team that's really only played a handful of games together. There is teething problems there, but that's something that we'll address. I'm sure they'll address it in training. But I'm happy with the score at the moment, but it could be a lot worse. And so that's Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 0. I'll speak to you at full time. So guys, the game finishes Crystal Palace 2, Arsenal 2. Very disappointing game from an Arsenal perspective. Alexander Lacazette in the last minute of the game, with literally the last kick of the game. A little bit of a scrappy goal, but he was in the right place at the right time to earn Arsenal a point. Real shame for Patrick Vieira, because I thought Palace did everything right today. The way they pressed Arsenal was very impressive. Their gap play, at times, Arsenal looked confused, clueless, and did not know where to go with the ball. Kind of indicative of a new team whose really players are playing together for the first time, as I mentioned at half time. And to be honest with you, these are the games that Arsenal are going to have to deal with. It doesn't get easier. Villa is up next. But overall, I think that Arsenal gained a point in this game. They were completely played off the park at times, but they weren't allowed to settle with the ball. The goals came from the pressing from Palace. Thomas Partey lost possession of the ball, and that led to a goal. And then Sambi lost possession of the ball in the midfield, and that also led to a goal. So you have to give credit to Palace in terms of what they were doing, putting Arsenal under pressure, and they just couldn't deal with it today. The play in the midfield from Arsenal was dreadful. It really was. And everybody was accountable in terms of what was going on there. You're looking for Martin Odegaard again. Just like Brighton, you're looking for him to come in and bring some creativity to the team, and it just didn't happen. And this is the second game in a row now that Odegaard has not had an effect on the game in creativity at all. Like, I can't remember one good pass that he played today which led to a chance on goal. So this is something that they're going to have to figure out. For me, that is the deciding factor. If Odegaard plays well, then this team's going to play well. But if he's off the ball, then you're going to get games like today, which they just don't know what to do. I mean, as I said, Arsenal gained the point. Sorry about this, guys. It's 10 o'clock at night, so you're going to have to deal with the darkness a little bit. But that's it from me, guys. Arsenal gained a point, and they have to really count themselves lucky in this one, because they really got away with it. They didn't play well at all. And I guess one might say that that is an identity that a team can adopt. The fact that you can come away with a point when you don't play well. But to be honest with you, I think they were outcoached. He had the better ideas. He had the understanding of what the players needed to do. They went out and pretty much did what he asked them to do. And Arsenal really didn't have an answer for it. And when you've got something like that happening, you can understand the troubles and frustrations that the fans have with Mikel Arteta. But it doesn't get any easier, guys. Villa's up next. I'll speak to you guys in the next one. What is going on, boys and girls? I've actually tagged this video onto my Gameday vlog because I just didn't have the time. When I came home last night, I had a DC Flash video to finish off, and I was tired because it was late. And I just thought, oh, I can't be bothered to get on. So I just thought I'd leave it till today. When I woke up this morning, I see you guys fighting around in the forums, talking about some of you being really realistic in terms of what was happening. Tom Aston, Mark T, James Hanbury, some good comments from you guys in the forum this morning. And then some other comments was just like, heads gone, like, what is going on? First of all, look, let's paint this picture here. Every week, it's almost like I'm having to repeat myself about this team. They've only played a handful of games together. That's it. A handful of games. One hand full of games together. So they're picking up the system and learning as they go along, watching a lot of footage, and they're not because of that, they're not reacting to changes on the field very well, because their first and foremost thought is to ensure that they're getting the system right. So what happens like Brighton and last night, when you're being forced to play a different way because another team has imposed themselves on you, it's very difficult to shift to a plan B when you're still trying to figure out what plan A is. That's just the reality of it, guys. That's the reality of the youngest team in the league trying to pick up this philosophy, trying to pick up the system, trying to work within what the manager's trying to do. It's harsh, and I know a lot of people might be saying, oh, well, Vieira just took over Palace, but Palace, those players have been there for ages. Yeah, they got a couple of new signings like Edouard and stuff, but when you look at the basics of their team, a lot of those players have been there for a while, and Gallagher and all them players, really, really good players. Zaha wasn't there yesterday. Benteke is an old, wily old fox. I was cursing him before the game, and he ended up scoring a goal, so I was kind of peeved with that. This Palace team is systematically outpressed and outworked the likes of Leicester, Brighton, which I thought they should have got a result in, and they came into the Emirates Stadium, as I said in my preview, thinking that they had a chance. And that's just the reality of it. So there's going to be days like this where we're just trying to pick up the learning process. That's how it is. Anyway, let me quickly go through my player ratings. I'm going to give Ramsdale a 7. I thought he could have done slightly better on the last goal, but it was a good shot and it came off the underpass of the crossbar. But the distribution from Ramsdale was impressive. His overall ability to be calm, not throw it out too quickly or not kick it out too quickly, pick his spots, and believe me, this guy's picking his spots. 2 or 3 times yesterday when the ball came out, it went into attacking areas that completely caught Palace off guard. He's a weapon. You can believe that. In fact, you know what? I should really give him a 7.5. And that stunning save towards the end of the first half was absolutely brilliant. But you'd expect him to make saves. What you don't expect is the competency of him coming out, catching balls, and his distribution. That is what's surprising me, and I love what I see. Tomiyasu, I thought Tomiyasu did okay defensively. I thought he had he's running the mill on that side. Palace decided to overload that side of the field, which is why Tomiyasu and Pepe was making quite a lot of mistakes, both of them actually giving the ball and losing possession quite a lot. Very uncharacteristic to see Tomiyasu give the ball away in the manner that he did, but they were overloading and their gap play from Palace was superb. I mean, they really didn't know where to go at times with the ball, and exactly what they did to Pepe. They just overcrowded and overloaded that side of the field, and Arsenal couldn't compensate. Martin Odegaard, I'll come on to him later in that regard. I'm going to give Gabriel a 6.5. I thought Gabriel did okay, but I thought he struggled. I thought the rough and tough stuff, sometimes he gets too tight, which you kind of like, his over-aggressive play, but then other times he sat back too much and allowed Benteke to turn him. And when Gallagher joined the attack, it just made things even harder because they just couldn't pick up all of the runners. And at times, Palace attackers was finding space because our defenders didn't know who to pick up, and that's just a lack of communication. Things like that will just improve over time the more games that they play. Countless times I saw Ben White and Tomiyasu and Gabriel just talking to each other in terms of who's picking up who, and it's something, as I said, they're still trying to figure out, and that is indicative of a team that has only played a handful of games together. So no complaint from me. I say what I saw, and that's exactly how it played out. Ben White, I thought, did a little bit better, so I'm going to give Ben White a 7. I thought Ben White, especially with his poise on the ball, I thought was very refreshing to see. Wasn't forced into making any passing errors. If the pass wasn't there, he just happily brought the ball out himself into the midfield. And that is what you have to do in order to sort of not force yourself into an error from a heavy press like what Palace was doing. Kieran Tierney, I thought that his work rate was up to par. He was busy getting up and down the field. But my problem with Kieran Tierney is what I've had all along this season is his passing is just not good. He's not passing and placing the ball into places which is causing defenses problems. And at times he's just passing the ball in the middle, which is just hopeful. You know, no one anywhere near it at times. 2 balls he put in the box, it was just like, who are you passing the ball to? And all it's doing is giving possession away, which was the theme of yesterday's game from the midfield. Just not placing the ball in areas that was going to achieve anything. And then if it's not there, you come back and you maintain possession. And I think that's what was frustrated as we go into the midfield. And I'm going to give Partey and Lokonga the same grade. And I think both players struggled to impose themselves in the game and didn't deal with the press very well. Palace pressed the hell out of them and they didn't have an answer for it. And the answer is to play the ball quickly. Don't sit on the ball. Both players were caught napping on the ball, were dispossessed, and went on to have goals in order for Crystal Palace. And unfortunately, you can't have that. You have to be able to play the ball in space and let it be received. The ball travels faster than a man. So get the ball, receive it, one touch, two touch, and then that's it. All of these touches we were seeing was just unnecessary, and Palace teed off on it. All day long they teed off on it. Lambs to the slaughters. And that's really where we lost the game. Had we had been able to maintain and played possessional football, keep the ball, sometimes backwards and sideways, is fine. Especially if you're 1-0 up. What was frustrating yesterday is we were 1-0 up, and then we were knocking these helpless, hopeless balls over to the front final third with nowhere near a chance of connecting with Aubameyang. And I have to say, Martin Odegaard is a big part of that. Now, Odegaard, I'm going to give him a 4, which is pretty much what he got against Brighton. He was nowhere yesterday. He's your lead creative guy. He's the guy you depend on to make things happen. He couldn't find himself into space to receive the ball. So those who were getting the ball, like the midfielders that we were just talking about, and then Smith Rowe and Saka, was getting depossessed every time they got it. Especially Saka. I can't count the amount of times that Pepe and Saka was depossessed. They got the ball, they were getting swamped by yellow Palace shirts and couldn't do nothing with it. Nobody was open for them to play a pass, and then they lost possession. That was the theme and the story of yesterday's game. And the team overall have to do a better job than playing the ball onwards to finding an open man. It's evident. It was frustrating just seeing us not being able to string 5 passes together. Yeah, I'm going to give them all a 4. The only one that comes out with any semblance is probably Smith Rowe. And Smith Rowe did a lot of his job backtracking, dropping into the midfield, being that extra guy there, being helpful, picking the ball up and trying to run forward with it and take people on. You saw a lot of that. It was a gutsy performance from Smith Rowe. But I have to say, he was relentless in his effort to backtrack and help the midfield and sort of be that extra man. He really worked. I think him and Aubameyang worked harder than any outfield player yesterday, as far as Arsenal's concerned. So I'm going to give him. Let me give him a 6.5 because although I think he only had one shot which was easily saved, the effort was there from Smith Rowe. Pepe, I'm going to give Pepe probably a 5.5. Pepe caused all kinds of problems for them yesterday, but then after I talked about the goal, didn't I? I said the goal was exactly the same as Norwich, where Pepe goes in, beats a man, shoots, goalkeeper makes a save, and Aubameyang comes in there for the clean-up. That goal doesn't happen yesterday if it's not for Pepe. The fact that he has the ability to do that meant that Vieira shouted out the instructions to overload him. So after the goal, Pepe faced about 70 minutes of an onslaught of being peppered by Crystal Palace. Every time he got the ball, he had shirts in front of him. He had 2, sometimes even 3 men, and he was depossessed every single time. He probably lost the ball more than anybody last night because Palace had a game plan to shut him down. And that's exactly what they did. Well done, Patrick Vieira. You can all slag off Pepe as much as you like, but I'm just being honest. Yeah, I'm just telling you like how it is. Pepe got flooded last night due to Palace's game plan. And the same thing, as I said, happened to Tomiyasu. They rendered them ineffective. That's what they did, and it came off. And the same thing happened with Saka. Saka couldn't hold the ball on. It was like hot potato. Too many touches, not enough quick passing, trying to run with the ball too much, and then losing the ball. Yeah, so Aubameyang comes in with a 7.5, and he's going to be my man of the match. His finish was impeccable, being in the right place at the right time, but his recoveries, he had 4 recoveries yesterday, running back into the midfield, winning the ball back, constant pressing. At times, he was the only man pressing. He was waving Odegaard. Sometimes he'd shut down the goalkeeper or the right back and he'd turn around. No Arsenal player was there. He'd wave on Odegaard and wave on Saka, and those two were just behind the play. So it's frustrating, I know, but Aubameyang did his job and I didn't see a lot of other guys doing it. So I'm going to give him a 7. Manager, I'm going to give him a 4. Arteta didn't do very well with what he had to deal with in terms of the changes yesterday. But that's it. That's the review and the player ratings from me. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below. But overall, I'm happy we rescued a point. It was a very difficult display, but I'll take a point all day long. And we're going to have days like this, guys. That's just going to be how it is. Peace, guys. Speak to you in the next one.